Hello and welcome. Here we're going to take a quick look at how we handle the delegates inside the hybrid management tool inside MigrationWiz. We all know that delegates are generally a little bit painful to handle, and often there's a lot of PowerShell scripts and CSV and obviously spreadsheets involved to manage all of this. What we've done inside this tool is say, okay, let's collect the information around the delegates and be able to batch them together effectively. So let's take a look at a batch here. You can see there's a little symbol next to this one that we've imported, and that really notes to us that this particular batch does have people in it that have delegates. So we'll click into that and we can see these 3 people inside this batch. Now Sean Underwood is the person in question here, and if we click on the little delegate icon here, in the flyout we can see that we have John Buckland and Austin Gibson, who are currently in the unbatched mailboxes, and you see they've got the exclamation by the side of them to say they are not in that current batch, and they should be. We want to be migrating these 2 users with Sean when we do this particular run. So what we can do though is we can automatically bring those into the batch, and I'll show you how we do that. At the top of the screen here we have a check for delegates button. Now if we press that, what it's going to do is it will pick out from that particular batch who is missing, and you can see it's worked out that there are 2 delegates there, Austin and John, and it's giving us the option to say, do we want to move these into the batch? And we just say move delegates and they will automatically brought in. And you can see they've also got the icon, which means they are some sort of delegate relationship too. So let's have a look at those there, and we can say that this particular person is a delegate of Sean Underwood, and if we look at Sean, you can see he has 2 delegates which are now in the same batch. They are definitely together, and we now have a good set of users to do this migration on. Now if we were to run the batch and start a sync in that state with the exclamation next to them where they're not in a batch, it will prompt us and say, you have users that are not in this batch that are delegates, do you want to bring them in? Basically does the process which I've just done there, and then you have that option. You can of course ignore that. You can run the batch without that, but it's just a few little warning flags to say this is what's happening and this is what you should be doing. Another quick call out here is something you might want to have a look at, and if you go into the project setup and look at the advanced options, you can see how the delegates are handled, and you can see we have 1 level up and down, which means that if we were doing that check that we just did for Sean and Austin there, it would say, okay, I want to bring in just those particular delegates from that 1 up, 1 down validation level. If I hit the tree for hierarchy and do the same check, it will say, well, does Austin have any delegates, and do those delegates have any delegates, and it will bring them in. It's a good way of saying yes, everybody will be captured, but in a large complex organization you may be pulling in a lot of people there. So generally we'd kick off with the 1 level up and down and see what that looks like, or you can use obviously the tree if you want to. If we say none here, there's no delegate processing at all, and you will not be warned when you start a batch that there is a delegate issue. So you can go ahead and do the delegate validation as you please there. So you can see from that is a particularly powerful item that we can have inside that MigrationWiz console, just making sure that all of the delegates are brought along with their respective mailbox owners. One of those things that you want to be doing in a migration, and thank you for watching.